Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Tulo Oyani. This morning I would like to look at Kelly Kumalo because Kelly Kumalo is quite central to what happened to Senzo the day Senzo died. Not only was she the closest person to Senzo, in the sense that they were in an affair with Senzo, but Senzo was also there at her invitation. So Kelly Kumalo is quite a central figure in all this. But let us look at some things or some developments around here. When this trial started, or when the investigation was underway, it would appear that Kelly Kumalo was treated as a victim in terms of the intruder theory. The intruder theory goes that, there are people who burst into that house in a robbery gone wrong. And one of the things that the intruders are supposed to have done was to seize her cell phone. That is the subject of count 3 in the Pretoria High Court. So Kelly Kumalo is a victim there, like all the people who were in the house. And she's a victim that stands out because a cell phone was reportedly seized from her. So that is the subject matter of count 3. And interestingly, you see, she has never been called as a witness. None of the people in the house had anything seized from them. So that, naturally, when the prosecution or the police started taking statements from all the people in the house, Kelly should have been should have been the first person to have been contacted. Because, she probably came face to face with whoever it was that seized her cell phone and could have possibly identified that person. But curiously enough, she does not feature anywhere in this trial. She just features on the sidelines of this trial. That cell phone which was supposedly seized from her or which belonged to her was never found. And if it is true that a cell phone was seized from her, the tracking of that cell phone should have indicated that the cell phone was taken out of the house and was probably, located in the direction of the park where these people are supposed to have run to. Remember, these intruders are supposed to have ran in the direction of the park. But the tracking of that cell phone shows that that cell phone never left that house. And from that we can conclude that that cell phone never left the Kumalo house. So it becomes very strange when you look at it. Why she claims a cell phone was stolen from her. And interestingly too, that cell phone has never been found. So she is a victim, but a victim that failed to come forward. A victim who was probably the closest person to Senzo in that house. It still baffles the mind why the prosecution has not called Kelly Kumalo as a witness. Because, like I've said earlier on, she was a direct victim. She had a cell phone seized from her. And chances are, if a cell phone was seized from her, she probably had a very good look at the person who seized the cell phone from her. But she has also been unable to identify any of the 5 people facing charges in the Pretoria High Court as one of the people, as she has been unable to identify any of them as being the person who supposedly seized the cell phone from her. So this story about her being the victim, has got a lot of question marks about it. Now let us move on. Now, it so happens that mid-trial, Gininda makes a disclosure now, makes a complete U-turn, and informs the court that, in fact, Kelly Kumalo is the mastermind behind that robbery and that killing of Senzo Meiwa. Gininda says, in fact, it was Kelly Kumalo who contracted these people and ended up paying them. Now, look at those two situations. In the docket, which is the subject matter of the trial unfolding in the Pretoria High Court, she is 2 things now. She is first of all a victim, and her being a victim is not very convincing. After we've been told that she's a victim, all of a sudden now Gininda places her in a position where she's actually behind the killing of Senzo Meiwa. In other words, Gininda in effect says Kelly Kumalo is accused number 1 in the murder of Senzo Meiwa, because that is what being a mastermind is. But curiously enough, although we are in a trial that is supposed to get justice for Senzo Meiwa, identify the people who have killed Senzo Meiwa, even though she's identified as their person, right? If there's anybody who has got to get convicted before everybody else, it is Kelly Kumalo. According to Gininda, because Gininda told the court that Kelly Kumalo is the mastermind. These are some of the curious and unbelievable things that we see around this trial. At one stage, you are a victim. There are statements that indicate she was a victim. All of a sudden, you suddenly just mutate into a mastermind. But having mutated into this mastermind, according to Gininda, nothing is done about that. The court does not seem to be surprised by it all. No question comes from the court along the lines of saying, Gininda, but this same person is the subject matter of count 3, the robbery count. And in that count, she's a victim. How then does she move away from being a victim to now being the mastermind? The court should have inquired into that. The defense must inquire into this. Surely, there's a lot of There's a lot of monkey tricks going on here. You cannot at the same time, or in one trial, be a victim of a crime and at the same time be the person behind that crime in the form of being a mastermind. Those two situations are mutually exclusive. You cannot perpetrate something at the level of being a mastermind and also be a victim of the same crime. What kind of trial is this? So there we are. She's got two identities now. She moves from being a mastermind, she moves from being a victim to being a mastermind. Somebody is being dishonest with that call. Because at the beginning of the trial, in the summary of facts, which are part of the record, she's a victim. In the same trial, on record and under oath, Gininda says she's now the mastermind. You tell me what this is all about. Because my own assessment of it all is, these are things which are made up. These are things which are made up. And even as a mastermind, Gininda has no intention at all of getting arrested. Because at some stage, Gininda told the court that Kumalo was not arrested because this was a prosecution-led investigation and it was the prosecutors who made the decision not to have her arrested. I wonder what kind of prosecution-led investigation that was, because clearly, how does a prosecution-led investigation then leave out a mastermind and move and get to arrest the people that were actually hired by the mastermind to commit the crime? That is nonsensical. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. So Kumalo will forever have this hanging over her head. She'll forever have, the killing of Senzo Meiwa hanging over her head. Even as a witness, if you have to believe that she was a witness, she should have come forward. She had an obligation. She was Senzo's girlfriend. Senzo died in her home. She does not seem to have been moved at all to try and, sort of clear the air as to what happened there. Being the person that Senzo was there for in the first place. Now, these are some of the things that we must discuss with you. Please tell me what you think in the comment section. From victim to mastermind. I've never seen this in any criminal trial. And I don't think I'll probably ever see it again. The Senzo Meiwa trial and investigation is simply a travesty of justice. It is just a circus of fabrications. Having said that, thank you. Let me say thank you for watching this video and thank you for all the subscriptions that I'm seeing. Please like and share these videos with your friends. And please don't skip those ads and have a nice day.